Okay, you're not going to want to hear this. Hate to break it to you, but I've got some news. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are rapidly wrapping up our 7th year of homeschooling. I have a 6th grader this year and a 2nd grader. I want to come here and I want to talk with you about how you cannot make the right decision. You can only make the decision right. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I have something on me. At Making Everyday Magic. It is just after the week after daylight savings times. I still have not recovered. I am so lethargic, and I'm filming this in the afternoon because it is spring break. And so we are not taking a spring break, but we're doing all the fun play date stuff. And so the whole schedule just gets overwhelmed. So I've got coffee because I'm on the bus. I am on the struggle bus. Getting to the main point here. I wanted to come on. I know that there are still so many people that even now in March, halfway through March, are deciding right this moment to pull their kids out of traditional model schools and to homeschool them. And I will never not be amazed at the people who are jumping ship. And I feel like it comes in waves for sure. Maybe it's like divorce. It's contagious. But I will never just simply not be amazed by it. I keep saying, how can you know if you're making the right decision? How do I know if I'm making the right decision? I don't know if I'm making the right decision. And I'm here to ruin your day and to tell you that you don't know if you're making the right decision. It is impossible to know if you're making the right decision. Not just about education, about every single little thing. The only thing that can let you know if you've made a right decision or a wrong decision is the gift/curse of hindsight. It is absolutely impossible for you to know if you are making the right decision. It is only possible for you to know if you have made the right decision. You cannot determine if you will make the right decision. Again, no making, only if you have made, which of course requires action. And as I have said again, an inability to make a decision is in itself a decision. So I just wanted to come and I wanted to chat with you about how you cannot know if you are making the right decision, but you can absolutely make the decision right. What do I mean by that? What I mean by making the decision right is that you go into it, you've done your homework, you've done all of the things that you need to do, and I will tell you a few steps to help make the decision right. But you've gone in, you've done all of the things, and you feel like you are the most prepared you could possibly be to make a decision. And then you, in fact, do make the decision. So if you are following the steps, if you are not rushing into decision making, if you are taking and weighing the consequences of your big life moments, your big life decisions, that is how you are taking your applied knowledge and making a decision right. So these are those things that we hope to instill in our children: the ability to discern information, the ability to utilize information well for their own goals, devices, motivations, whatever it is. And we are hoping that they will learn how to make a decision right. Because rarely do we hope of them, and it may seem like it on the surface that we want them to make the right decision, but what we want to do is to make the decision right for them. So whether or not we agree or want it to be a certain way, we want them to have at least put the tools in their pocket that help them do this. So I'm going to share with you how I do this, especially when it comes to homeschool, travel, all of the things. These are the steps that I do to help me make a decision right, because again, it is impossible to know what the right decision is. Now, of course, decision making, making the decision right will vary based on every situation, every topic, every child. What may be right for one is not right for another, and that does not end just because I'm going to tell you how to do this. What that means is you've got to do that many times more the work to figure out if you are making a decision right. So let me give you 5 practical tips to help you make a decision right. The very first thing that I do when I am making a decision is I weigh the risks. So if I choose this, that means it could be this. If I choose that, it means it could be that. I am weighing the risks. So if I make no decision, what is the outcome of that? What's the probable outcome? What's the likely outcome? I'm doing pros and cons lists. I am thinking through the paths that I could possibly end up taking in each of the, decision points that face me. From there, I am doing my research. Now, I do this with everything: homeschool decisions, curriculum decisions, restaurant decisions, travel decisions, flight options, literally everything. I am researching because I feel a great sense of security in information. So if I have gathered a lot of information, looked at a lot of Yelp reviews, things like that, I am not someone who's paralyzed by decision making. I'm not somebody who's paralyzed by information. If you are, maybe just figure out the best source of information that suits you. Maybe it's not everything. Maybe too much information is too hard, but your tried and true is Google reviews or Amazon reviews, and you only stick to that. So do your research, gather your knowledge, and then the very next step is circling back to step 1, which is weighing your risks. So we're going to do this both before and after we have gained knowledge, because you will be quite shocked to find that many things, once you have gathered more information, are just not as applicable or don't feel as serious once you have went through the effort of gathering more information. Some things just won't apply anymore, or you'll be like, yeah, that's how I thought it was, but after more research, I found out that actually never happens, or the risk of that so low, so it's not worth being on my risk anymore. Now, the actual third step, because we did the first step twice, the actual third step is going to be sitting with it. I like to sit with it because almost nothing, and this actually learned this way back in my husband coach childbirth class. A lot of things will feel very immediate, very serious, very much like they require an answer of you right now because it is intense and it's loud and it's a noisy situation, or it's a hard situation, or it's a very emotional situation. However, very, very few things do not afford you an opportunity to sit with it, to remove yourself from a situation, to think about it, to let it weigh on you. There have been many times I've got an idea in my head, for example, like a product design or something, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, a business decision. And then sometime, randomly, in the shower, in the middle of the night, after I've thought through all of my options and done a little research, all of a sudden, I know what the answer is. I know the path to take. It has become clear and I feel so good about it. So my third tip is to sit with it. Sit with it and just see how it feels. See how your feelings about it change, because frequently, if you give it enough time, your emotions will pull out of the decision-making process, because you should never make a decision when you are emotional, and you should never make a decision from a place of emotions. What you should do is sit with it, and that allows your emotions to calm down, to quiet down that background noise, and for you to make a real and honest decision based on facts, based on the risks, based on the knowledge you've gathered, instead of how you feel about it. However, how you feel about it is very important and very valid. I'm just saying, don't make decisions based solely from a place of emotional reaction. Something in the decision-making process that helps me feel very secure very often is to have my Backsie Plan. Now, I call it this because there's a lot of times I'll be joking, my husband will say, volunteer to do something, I'm like, oh, no backsies, meaning you can't take it back. However, for myself, if I'm making a large decision and I know how I would unmake a large decision, I feel really good about it. I feel really good knowing what the consequences of changing my mind are, because often you can change your mind and there's not a lot of real consequences. Even when you've done something like purchased airline tickets, it may be just knowing, and this is how I usually approach this, just knowing the cancellation policy makes me feel pretty good. Because if it's something I could live with, then I feel like there's a lot of pressure that's been taken off of that decision or that commitment. So having a Backsie Plan, knowing how I would undo the thing I'm about to do, gives me a great sense of security. If you have done all of these things and you feel prepared, the very last step of this is to go for it. At some point, you have to pull the trigger. Go for it. And then you can go confidently in the direction of your decision because you have done your research. You know how to change it should it not work out. You know the risks. You've done your homework. You know how you feel about it truly because you've sat with it a minute and allowed those emotional reactions to calm and quiet. Now you can go with it. You know where you're going, how you're going, when you're going, and you will have no regrets because you are definitely going in the direction that you want to be going. And it is very important to remember that you should have absolutely no regrets on this because you have done your homework. It is impossible. It is absolutely impossible to plan for every single outcome. It is impossible to do any more than you can do right now because it's very important that you remember you are making a right now decision based on right now you with the information that right now you has. It is very unfair in hindsight to ever look back and judge that person because they don't have that gift of hindsight. So be kind to yourself. Do the absolute best that you can with the information that you have available to you right now. And then let that be what it is. Give yourself grace. Do not judge yourself harshly in retrospect because it's incredibly unfair. So do the best that you can. I want to come here and I want to give you just a few tools to help you make the decision right because, like I said, it is absolutely impossible to make the right decision. But by that token, let's flip it. It's absolutely impossible to make the wrong decision. So there you go. There's a silver lining. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I hope that this was valuable. I hope that you can take this and apply this to some of your big decisions that you've coming up. Your curriculum pieces, whether or not to keep your kids in or out of a school or co-op or learning situation. I hope that you found it valuable. And I hope that it also is a little bit reassuring to know that everyone always struggles with these things and we always stress and we all truly worry. Are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the wrong thing? Like I said, this gives me comfort in knowing I literally have done the absolute best I could possibly do in this moment, in this situation with this information. So I hope that you will take that with you, carry it with you, and feel just a little bit kinder to yourself in the decision-making process because again, it's not possible to be right or wrong, but you can absolutely make the decision right. Bye guys.